Welcome everybody. Old Jabberjaw here. Okay, this is part one.
I thought if I were you, you would hush up.
So this is part one, okay, of a 3-part series, and I'm going to do them consecutively. So this is the Monday one, and so Tuesday and Wednesday, part 2 and 3. Anyhow, y'all enjoy. This is part 1. So
Part 1.
God bless and take care.
Take 2, boop.
Take 2.
Take 1.
And start the show.
Okay, we got to do another one.
Howdy everybody, this is Mondays with Mom, the new era of Mondays with Mom. This is a mom, it's not my mom, but she's mom. She's the mom to our daughter, and I'm sure you all know very well the lovely Karla Reeves.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You need your glasses fixed though.
No, I don't. You are lovely. Isn't she lovely? Everybody say she's lovely. If you don't now,
It needs
that's
pop bottle
just being
bottles.
mean. Whatever. So
I ain't no
anyhow,
Christy Brinkley.
still dealing with my medical stuff, so I ain't been able to really get out and do a lot of searching out. So we're doing this.
Do I look at you or look at the camera?
Look at the camera, honey.
Look at the
Or
camera.
you can look at me. I don't care. They want you to look at them, so look at the camera. Don't stare at the camera. You goof. Good Lord. Now people are going to be like, what is wrong with her?
They know me.
Anyhow, I just figured maybe everybody kind of want the behind the, well, not behind, yeah,
Behind the
scenes.
great man
well, no,
is a
yeah,
great
behind
woman.
the, well, just people's stories that, and
You'll
what
start
better
over?
way, I don't want better way to start than with us, the family behind Mondays with Mom.
First he's going to knock the camera over.
You better not.
Junebug.
And naturally, Junebug is wanting to play.
Yes. At least she ain't got that rattle.
Anyhow, this is just kind of, just kind of get the series going here. Plus, once I get all this other health issues taken care of, I'll be out and about doing more on location stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, let's start at the beginning. When and where were you born?
Now you know you're not supposed to ask the lady.
Okay, you
Her
can leave the
age.
when out. 60s, sometime in the 60s.
60-something or another.
Something
No,
or
wait a
other.
minute. I'm 29 and holding, so
Oh,
do
there
the
you go.
math.
Well, somewhere between 1960 and say 70, it's late 70s.
70 something.
Okay.
Maybe 79.
So where was you born?
Mount Sterling.
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
You gotta say Kentucky, because
Really?
there's some poor feller in Australia right now.
Mount
Mount
Sterling.
Sterling. What's he told? What's the Mount Sterling? I don't know what accent that was. Anyhow, Mount Sterling, Kentucky.
Yeah, Mount Sterling, Kentucky, or as my grandmother used to say, Mount Starvation. I still have yet to
Or
figure
as
out.
the yokels, the locals call it Mount Sterling.
Mount Sterling.
Mount Sterling.
Mount Sterling.
Right next door to Winchester.
Yeah, Winchester. Yep.
Okay, so you was born there, so is that basically where you grew up?
Yes.
Now, when you were born, were you living in that house on was that Camargo Road? My mind just went
Fog
blank.
Pike.
Fog Pike. Okay, so you kind of moved around, but not much. You stayed in the same county.
We lived on Great Granny Walker's property,
Right.
and Papa Ovie's property. That was my grandfather, my great grandfather.
But your entire life till you were what, 16, 17? You
16,
grew up in Mount Sterling, basically.
Yeah.
Then you moved to Texas, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, well, give us a little on what your childhood was like. Like what your family do on weekends, and what they do for vacation, and what did you and your sisters do? I know why you're laughing. Oh, the stories. Lordy, the stories.
Well, first of all, I'm a twin, one of 2, and I broke the mold when I was born, or my sister broke the mold, whichever one
You both broke the mold.
Yeah, they had to get the can opener after Mama. So, because we came early, that's why I'm just crazy about being on time, which Kentucky Ranger ain't always on time.
Yeah, well, you know me, I'm gonna have some pictures of her when she was a baby.
Oh yeah, we were like 3 pounds and 3.5 pounds. I don't know who was which one, but
Little bitty babies.
we were very tiny. We stayed in the incubator for 6 weeks, and we didn't come home till then. They didn't expect us to live. And I have an older sister. She's 2 years older, Lynn.
Right.
And what else you want to know?
Well, what did you do growing up? I mean, how did you all,
Well, we were typical kids.
what did you do for fun? Playing in the yard? I mean, what kind of things did you do?
Tore up my dad's shed that he was going to build.
Oh, tell the story about you getting trapped in his old car with the Hornets.
Oh yeah, that was my uncle's car.
Your uncle?
I
thought it was your dad. I'm sorry.
We went on vacation and, well, typical kids. I was about, I guess, 10 years old or so. We went on vacation. We always went on vacation every year with our tax money. That's what my mom and dad would do. And we'd have a good time going to Daytona Beach for a couple weeks. And, well, we were in Georgia. First, we'd spend time with my uncle. And we'd stay there for about a week, and then we'd go on to Florida. But this particular time, this really ain't a funny story.
No, it's not, but it's just...
But this is why I'm terrified of wasps. Well, I asked my uncle if I could play in one of his old Cadillacs, because he had a collection of Cadillacs. He's one of these fellas that, if it didn't run, he still kept it because it was a Cadillac. It was
Right.
cool. And so I got in it, slammed the door, and I heard something buzzing. Like I say, I was about 10 years old or so. And if you've ever seen red wasp, they are very aggressive and they will come after you. Well, this car was full of them. So I'm looking out the window. I'm so scared I can't even scream. Here comes my dad, my uncle, and my cousin. He was an adult. They were running for the car, and I was reading their lips, and I can't say what they were saying, but they said, "Get out of the car, get out of the car." And I was swarmed by wasps in the car. And when I slammed the car door, I jarred them. Well, red wasp.
Hey, you woke him up.
I woke them up. And I was so terrified. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. All I could do is look out the window. And to this day, I really don't know how I got out of that car. Well, my uncle is allergic to any kind of like bee stings or wasp, things like this, because he had got up in his Luscombe airplane and he was flying and had a bee in there. He had to sit it down. He didn't know he was allergic to bees. So this is why he carried, well, this was before the EpiPen, and he had to give me whatever you would call it, to keep me from going into shock because I got stung so many times. My face had swelled up really big, my throat started closing up, and it was a mess. Not that I think I'm allergic to wasps or bees, because I've been...
No, when you're stung that many times.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're allergic or... If you were allergic, you'd have died.
Yeah. But my face swelled up because, they were swarming at me. And if anybody, and you ought to Google that, on red wasp.
Oh, all wasps, hornets, all of those.
They call them red paper wasp.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's just a nickname that maybe some of the people in my family come up with, red wasp.
I'll see what I can find on that.
But they are vicious, and they just tore me up. And to this day, if I see a wasp, that's
another thing
panic.
you need to remind people on here is out in the country, well, basically just anywhere in the United States, because there's wasps, hornets, they're everywhere. And the places
They'll
they hang
chase
out,
you.
well, yeah, but the places they hang out, you want to stay away from old abandoned cars.
Yeah.
Old abandoned sheds.
Grills.
Old. That's another thing. See that I'm gonna have to attack.
Yeah, buddy.
My barbecue grill because I haven't used it in a couple of years.
Better
and the
you
Hornets
than me.
or
Not
the
me.
Wasps has found that it's a really cool place. And
Yeah. You
went
got
to
a
open
wasp
it-
nest that
Yeah, I
big.
went to open it up. No, it's bigger than that now. So, but yeah,
Glad I
just-
didn't want to barbecue no steaks.
yeah, there's just places that you don't want to venture into. Well, I remember
They're scary.
when we first moved here in '80, we was renting a house out on Pruitt Pike, and it had an old slave cabin. I mean, it was an old house. It was about 100 and however many years old. It had a slave/servant cabin, which they had. That was a traditional traditional thing. It sounds. That's what they did back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's
Those
it's
that
part of
had-
our history.
Those that had
The rich
servants
people and the
stuff.
Pruitts were one of them back in the day. They had.
I've got a book on Montgomery
Well,
County's history.
what had happened is when slavery was abolished, the slaves just became house servants. But you had houses, and that's where they lived. And this old house was out there, and it had been left, abandoned for a long time. Well, they decided since we were renting the house, they were going to clean the property up, and we were helping them. And
They'll come after you.
their farm hands was out there, and they were getting ready to demolish the house. Well, they were clearing it out, and there was an old mattress laying in there. Well, bumblebees had discovered that's a good place to build a nest. And this poor kid,
Oh, Shazam.
he went to grab that mattress, and he disturbed that
The hive.
bumblebee nest, and they had to take him to the hospital.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, you gotta watch
perfume will set them off.
loud noise,
They
lawnmowers.
They went after the red wasp. Went after my twin sister, and she's got copper red hair. And believe it or not, that actually set them off, and they become.
But yeah, summer, that's
Mad.
one thing in the summer you really got to watch. Oh, and another thing in the spring,
Victoria's
be
scared
careful
of them,
walking
too.
barefoot because
Yep.
bumblebees live underground. I didn't know that for a long time.
I did. That's how many
Yeah,
times I got
you'll
stung.
find out real quick.
Oh,
Because
another
springtime
thing.
they come out of the ground and they start doing their thing.
Yep.
And if you're not careful, they'll get you.
Well, I looked at a bumblebee when I was a kid. I was, I guess, in kindergarten. And my dad didn't get the words out of his mouth, "Don't touch the bee." Well, I touched the bee and it stung me right on the finger. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bumblebees, wasps, spiders, don't like that.
Well, anyhow.
Don't mind snakes.
Yep, see spiders, you can run away from them. Bees, you have a harder time. Or bees and wasps, because they can fly, they can chase you down. And wasps and yellow jackets, they will actually chase you.
Now, what was you saying about spiders? Say that again.
Well, they crawl. I mean, you can outrun a spider.
Yeah, and they do come after you, especially the ones in Florida, the wolf spiders that hang out
Oh, yeah, they're
in the
horrible.
fruit trees. I can tell you for a fact.
Thank God those kind of spiders, they like to keep to themselves. They'll do everything they can to get away from you, but if they can't, they will turn on you.
I
And
disagree
they will
with
bite
that
you,
statement
and it
he
will
made.
hurt.
I disagree with that statement because them
I'll tell you, thank God,
jumping spiders,
wolf spiders and stuff,
they're this big.
thank God their poison isn't dangerous to humans. But it
So that's
smarts,
a
buddy,
problem.
when they bite you. And
Yeah.
see, the bad thing, like, well, Amy right now, she's going through, she got spider bit. Like these brown recluse
Oh, they're
and black
deadly.
widows, when
They're
they bite
deadly.
you,
Got a
you don't,
story
you don't,
about that,
you
too.
don't hardly feel it when they bite you.
Yeah.
So, and you go about your business not realizing, and then what happens days later, like with Amy, her
Yeah.
finger's all messed up right now. And
Yeah,
my dad,
it's-
he crawled under, we was living in a trailer, and he was working on the water pipes, and a couple of black widows bit him.
Yeah, buddy, they
Well,
don't
see,
play.
being Mr. Macho, I ain't going to no dang hospital, so he laid in bed for 3 or 4 days, sicker than a dog. It's a wonder it didn't kill him.
Yeah, because they're deadly. They are
But
deadly.
it's weird because the real poisonous ones, you don't really feel when they bite you. But man, them big ones, they hurt. But it don't, you're okay. I'd still say, you get bit by one like that, you want to go to the doctor because you can get that, what they call it, necrotizing bacteria.
Yeah.
And that'll basically flesh eating. It'll eat you away. I've heard stories where people's lost their hands and their feet. Who was Amy's husband? I think she got bit. She said it took him a year.
Yeah, I got a story on that one. I believe it was a black recluse or brown. Brown recluse. My ex's brother, he was a big time lush, and he was laying under his mom's apple tree. Well, she went down there to look at him, and he had a big old place swelling up.
Oh yeah.
On his stomach, and it was, getting really bad. Well, I guess the poison burrowed down in his skin. They actually had to scrape away some of his skin.
Yeah, because it goes deep into your skin.
And what was really crazy,
I'm going to put up on the corners, just so people might not have seen them before, what a brown recluse and a black widow looks like. Because they are
and the
dangerous.
jumping spiders that they got in Florida,
yeah, but they won't.
Guns are big. Yeah, but they're scary.
Yeah, they're scary. But
well, let me finish my story.
okay.
Well, anyway, Gordy, he was drunk as usual, and the doctor said after they got him to the hospital, said that if it wasn't for the alcohol in his system, he would have died.
Well.
And he had so much alcohol in his system because he was a daily drinker.
When the spider bit him, the spider got drunk and died.
Yeah, literally. The doctor said, yeah, the spider probably died from being drunk.
Lord have mercy.
I mean, you may be an alcoholic when the spider that bites you dies and you don't.
Lord have mercy.
Funny one.
Okay, well,
Poor thing.
where did you all used to go like on vacation? Because I remember
Florida.
You used to go to Florida.
Mainly
you
Florida
leave,
and
you come back, I
Georgia.
wouldn't even recognize you.
Yeah, I'd be brown as a biscuit.
Lord have mercy.
I'd be a different nationality.
Yeah.
See how white I am?
Oh, she would. She'd come back, she'd be so dark. But, yeah, so you used to go, do you go the same place every year? Or?
Pretty much, yeah, but we would go to the zoo down there in Daytona.
Well, I mean, like, where was
We'd
the
go
actual, so Daytona was?
Daytona Beach.
That was like the go-to place
yeah.
every year?
We always stayed at the Breakers Motel. My dad knew the man, and he always give us a good discount. We stayed, yeah.
I'll have to see if I can find a
Or to tell
picture
some
of
of
that.
the hotel stories. Oh my God, we stayed at this one hotel.
What's it called?
Breakers. It's on the beach shore. It's on the, the beach.
Yeah.
And this one place we stayed, it was so bad.
Well,
this guy.
That's one thing. A 30-minute drive east or west in Florida, you will end up at a beach.
Yeah. He's so bad. And this hotel was so bad. The guy that owned it was called the Colonel. He was always chewing a cigarette and, the typical hillbilly look, right, in Florida. And I looked under the bed because I lost something. Won't do that again. The bed was standing up on bricks.
Lord.
And I wondered why my sister and I got to bed. See, my mom and dad would have one bed and we'd have the other bed. And we'd flip a coin to see who got the cot. So usually, because you didn't put three girls in the same bed, Lord have mercy. Well, my older sister, she always drew the cot,
So in other words, this motel would probably be a good candidate for, what's that guy, Dan Bell?
Yeah.
Bad motels, or what do they call it? What's he call it? Another dirty motel.
Yeah. It was immaculate.
I'll be surprised if I find I'm going to Google it and see if it's still down there. It'd be funny if it's still in business.
It was immaculate. But gotta love them cinder blocks
Lord
holding that bed up,
That's
honey.
funny.
Lord. Yeah, I got some funny ones on that.
So you just went down there every summer?
Every summer. We
Did you
stayed.
do anything like for the winter, or that was just your one big vacation?
That was the one big shot because Dad got the income tax money and woohoo!
Right. And the way y'all went.
And by the end of the
Well,
third
there's
week,
a lot of families that do that.
Yeah.
They'll get their income tax.
because
they plan out their
a lot of
vacation.
people can't afford.
Working
that's the
class
only places
people. That's
we would go.
You're busy
We'd go,
trying to make a
or
living.
we'd go to Cherokee or the Smokies.
Yeah.
But that was a real rarity. But the main thing, we was going to the beach, and
Yeah, but that's something, and there's no shame in that as working class people. I was working class people.
We enjoyed it, but by the third week, we kids was tired of
but you're spending most of your resources through the year just surviving, take care of your family, and your big bonus at the end of the year was your taxes.
Yeah.
Of course, now I've heard a lot of people make the argument, well, just don't give it to Uncle Sam, put it in the savings account. Well, yeah, good luck with that, because most people, 98% of people, well, maybe 96. I mean, there's a few out there that can do it, little fuss budgets, but it's so hard to save money, especially when you're, like I said, working class. And there's nothing wrong with working class. I'm not meaning that in a derogatory tone. What I mean is you're doing the best you can with what you got.
You're overthinking it, Ranger.
Yeah, I am.
Just
but
say
anyway,
your
there's a lot of people, that's what they do. But I mean, Lord have mercy, listen to her. No, I'm just saying that it's it is what it is. Okay, well, next, has you or a family member ever served or is serving in the military? Well, you haven't served, but...
No, I was planning on it.
Actually, you did. Me and you served, kind of.
Kind of.
The ROTC in the junior high, in the high school.
Yeah.
Actually,
it was a good marching band, but
actually,
they wouldn't let me carry the guns, and do all that.
You know what? That actually did count, because I talked to Chief Bradley, and he said
if we went
if I would have joined, that I would start out
E1,
like E1. I would have jumped
E1?
a little ahead of just raw recruits. Well, any of us. Yeah, that's another thing. I was a real crack shot, and Karla was a good shot too. And
you remember that?
Oh, I do. And they
we got into a big
he begged me
fight.
Because I was that good a shot. He begged me to go to the competition. Where was down in Virginia or somewhere.
Yeah,
and
but
I told
they
him the
wouldn't
only
let
way.
the girls.
Well, that's why, because you wanted to go too. And he says, no, you're not allowed because you're a girl. And I told him, he begged me. He says, we can win this trophy if you come down and go with us. And I said, I'm not doing it. And he says, well, if you don't go, well, there's no reason for us to go. I said, well, bring Karla. Well, I can't do that. I can't. And I said, well, I ain't going.
That was a good
and
shot.
I didn't. And
asked me how I learned to shoot.
I understood, and I even explained to him. I said, Chief Bradley, I understand that your hands are tied, but what you need to do is you need to tell them, hey, this isn't right, what you're doing. And he agreed. He says, it's not right. Karla should have been allowed to go too. But because she didn't go, I didn't go. So no, we never. Yeah. And Lord, some of them other kids that was in that ROTC class.
Oh my God.
The worst thing in the world, handing them a gun. You remember Billy? He handed him that rifle, and he shot the ceiling with it. I was like, what are you doing?
I would have hit the bullseye on the target. I would have hit the target. Because I know how to shoot.
He let you shoot, and you did. You were really good. I would say I was the number one. You were number two. There was a couple others that they're pretty good, but they weren't good.
For the girls, I was number one.
Yeah, but see, the problem was he had to have so many to go to this competition. I don't even know if ROTC does that anymore.
I don't know.
But I was the top pick, and without me, he wasn't going to do it.
They wouldn't even let us march with the guns,
Oh no, they did. No, they most certainly did.
They wouldn't.
They did, honey. Now
you're
forgetting that
competition.
That was just.
I didn't do too bad.
No, well, we did pretty good at that. What do they call it? They got a name for it. I guarantee you, these ex-military people out there screaming. It's called the something. 13 something. I'm gonna have to Google that because that's bugging me now.
Chief Bradley asked me how I got so good at twirling the guns and stuff. I said, Chief, it's just like twirling the baton.
Yeah, it was.
He started laughing.
Oh, what do they call the 16 something something?
Yeah,
it's where you start off at attention with the gun at your side.
Yeah,
and then you start counting 1, sir, 2, sir.
We did good though.
Of course, now when you were doing
it, show my
you didn't have to holler out one or yeah. That's another thing I'll show up with this is our ROTC picture. It's
and everybody
funny.
Have to guess
we all look
which
so
one's
funny.
me.
Oh, there's y'all gonna love. You talk about a fluff chick. She was, Lord have mercy. She looked like her head looked like a powder puff.
Oh, it was bad. It's like poof.
16 count manual. That's what it's called,
yes.
I think. 16 count manual.
Yeah,
or is it 14 count manual? It's something count manual.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
We did good though. I wish we'd had that on
I'll
videotape.
have to see if I got a Blue Jackets manual. Now,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And everybody that's been in the Navy, and I guarantee all the other military, I don't know what they call theirs, is you've got a Blue Jackets manual.
Yeah.
And basically, that's your Bible. That tells you everything. Huh?
Call this episode with Mom. Call this one the things you didn't know about Karla Reeves.
Well, that's what this whole thing's all about.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but it's
so now
funny.
your dad wasn't in the military. Do you have anyone in your family that was in the military?
My uncle, he was in. Oh God, what was it? My dad's brother was in the service. It's bad. I can't remember.
Can't remember what branch.
Yeah. I think it was the Navy. So.
You know, that's weird because a lot of
And my
people that I knew back when I was
in the
living
service. And my great grandfather
here,
was in
we're here in
the
Kentucky,
wars.
and everybody was joining the Navy. I think it's kind of weird. I want to join the Air Force.
Well, I was wanting to join the Navy. I was wanting to be one of the.
Well, you remember, and that was
waves.
the first time that
One of the waves, what they call it, waves, where the women were in the.
Yeah, they call it something. That's the female pilots. They call them something.
WASP.
Something like that. Of course, there's ignorant jokes about that. Well, I ain't even gonna tell it.
You better not.
Anyhow.
But I was going to join. I was going to join the service.
But well, you remember, and that was the first time that we had an outing, and it ended Chief Bradley's career. We went to Great Lakes, Illinois, to the Naval Training Center.
It was off.
And I mean, it was a really cool experience. So we were actually there. It was a basic training center,
Yeah.
and we were going through basically what everybody was going through to basic training. And I begged Chief Bradley, because you remember that was the last year of high school, and I had to go an extra year because I didn't have a quarter credit in health.
Yeah.
That was so stupid.
Yeah,
well,
but
anyway,
I'm glad, I would have met you.
Well, anyway, I'd already finished that quarter. It was only a quarter of the year that I had to go. So I was already done with that. Yeah, I know, it was ridiculous. That's a whole nother story. I guess I'm going to have to turn the camera on myself and do a Mondays with Mom, with me.
Because he had to go to health class.
I had to go health class.
And here was 19.
I'm 18 years old. I'm in class with, what are they, like 13-year-old kids. They thought I was the dumbest person on the planet. But anyhow, while we were there, I begged him. I said, "Can I just stay here?" He said, "No, that's not the way it works." And I said, "Well, why not?" And I said, "I'll sign up. I'll just stay here. Y'all go home, and I'll just join the Navy." He said, "You got to finish school." And I said, "Well, I done finished the class that I needed." I'd sit there and argue with him. He says, "Son, I commend you," but he says, "No, you can't stay." I'm like, well, crap on a cracker.
I know if I'd have had a son, I'd named him Daniel Bradley.
Yeah, he was an awesome guy. But anyway,
And
what had
name
happened is they split us up into two barracks. They had the girl barracks and the boy barracks.
Oh yeah, that was.
Well, the barracks that she was in.
Don't say the girls' name.
No, I'm not. But there's some actual raw recruits that were actually there.
Yeah.
And they bought beer, and they come in there, and they were hassling the girls and everything.
Making
but anyway,
out with the girls.
It blew up into a whole debacle, and Chief Bradley was given the choice to either resign or they were going to fire him. It was sad.
Because the girls had lied and made a statement.
Lied that he was involved, and he was not involved.
He wasn't involved. I was one of the witnesses, but the girls were kissing and carrying on with the recruits, and I told them, no, I didn't want to be a part of it.
Okay, well, moving on. What kind of cars do you remember riding and driving? Now, I know one car you definitely remember is a Mercedes. Because your daddy, that's all he had was Mercedes.
Mercedes, Cricket. Remember the Crickets?
Yeah,
we had
I'm gonna throw some of them pictures.
A little Doodlebug. Right. We had an Oldsmobile. But Daddy, what I loved about our Mercedes that we had, and I used to love it, is when I'd on purpose miss the school bus, Dad would drive me to school. and he'd go on to
Yeah, you
work.
got chauffeured to school in a
Yeah.
Mercedes.
It was a
It was older.
1964 Mercedes, and Daddy had 4 of them. And I always said, "Well, Daddy, I want one of them because it was the same year I was born." Well, what was really cool about the Mercedes is if you would go 10 miles an hour, the speedometer would change colors, but
Yeah.
it would go up. You know, like a bar graph. Where you going?
Get some coffee. Just keep talking.
Oh, just keep talking. Just entertain everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take care of this. And it would change colors. Hey, Ranger, you're going to have to show a little clip of what I'm talking about where the speedometer changed colors. It would be striped, and then it'd be solid colors.
see.
The faster you go. Oh, I guarantee you, YouTube's got it somewhere. YouTube's got everything on
Almighty
it.
YouTube.
Just ask YouTube or Google.
Yes. The
Right.
Almighty YouTube.
Then we had, let's see, Dad had a Ford Falcon. That was the first car I can remember. It was a blue, I believe, 62 Ford Falcon. And let me see. He had Oldsmobiles, Cadillacs. We had the type of Cadillac that had the like shark fins and the tubular. I don't remember what year it was, but it had actually Venetian blinds in the back, and they were the wide ones.
Well,
I wish I had a picture of that car. It was a beautiful car. I loved it. And what else you want to talk about? Then he had Buicks.
well,
but-
then I had the one that we used to cruise around in, my '68 Chevy pickup.
Yeah.
Goldie,
But
you named it Goldie.
yeah, it was Goldie. Yeah.
Well, it was kind of gold. It was
Yeah.
faded gold. That truck took us everywhere.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
And I'd get to touch Kentucky Ranger's knee, although I was, now I know this sounds really bad, but I was dating his best friend, and I'd always get squozed
Yeah,
in the
see,
middle.
he did
And
the
I'd
typical
accidentally-
best friend thing. I wanted to get to know you, and he says,
I
"Well,
wanted
I'll
to get to know
introduce."
you too, but
He said,
I
"I'll
was
introduce
backwards.
myself to her, and then I'll tell her that you're
He lied.
interested." Well, yeah, he introduced himself to you, and he didn't say squat about me.
Yeah, on that bus ride, you should have known something was wrong because he got
Yeah, when
slapped
you
in the
smacked
face.
him, yeah, all over Simon.
Yeah.
A little game from the '80s.
No, it was more to it than just Simon. Ralphie was getting a little fresh with them hands. I
Yeah.
wasn't having it. Bam! I rang his church bell.
Well, yeah, I'll never forget that Simon game. In fact, you got me one.
Yes, I did.
I don't
Yes,
know
I
what
did.
happened. The original one I had. It'd probably be a collector's item. I bet it'd be worth a whole
Yeah.
$20 on eBay. But
But it's cool.
it was
though.
a cool game. I
Brings
liked
back
it.
good memories.
Oh yeah.
Just sorry that Ralphie was such a
And I can't.
jerk.
Well, yeah, I guess I could say, what was the first car you learned to drive in?